The Western gaming industry is back, at least the parts of it that are outside of the United States. And I'm talking about Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja's release of Ninja Gaiden from Japanese developers that have been much perceived as going the way of most Western games development companies go, where they try to focus on DEI and ESG messaging that censors designs and stories of games that they're working on. And I think that's what people expected with the Ninja Gaiden remake that came out all of a sudden after the Xbox Direct conference, where we just got a new game from a developer that has been inching towards censorship protocols that are much more in line with Xbox standards of releases. And I think that's the thing that we're looking to see in Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, but that's the opposite of what we actually got. We got a game that is highly focused on bringing beautiful character designs to the game player's focus. And I think that is the thing that is surprising a lot of people about this game, that this game is made for the gamer and player base. And I think that's the thing I was most shocked by, that this game was really in line with the original design of the game when it first released. And I think that caught a lot of people off guard when we saw this game. We're like, what? They're actually having jiggle physics in the game? They're actually keeping the beautiful designs of the characters? They're actually keeping everything related to the overall look of the game intact without besmirching it with uglification standards and maybe eliminating entire scenes in general like they did with Mass Effect and some games that were remastered again. And I think that's the thing gamers are shocked by, to see this coming from studios that have been inching towards censorship patterns for the past 5 years, because that's what Xbox was directing a lot of studios to do with their releases for their platforms. And I think that's the thing people expected with Koei Tecmo, who actually leaned on the side of censoring their products to be in line with Xbox platforms. We heard about them doing this for Fatal Frame. We heard about them doing this with Fairy Tail RPG by removing shots of certain characters in the game to be in line with the censorship standards established by Microsoft, where they had a guidance where they don't want any female curvy characters anymore. They want to eliminate any appeal of these female characters. They feel like it's an impediment to the overall equity design that they want to present to the game players. They want to make something more LGBTQ friendly, much in line what we saw with The Last of Us 2, where they directed to have less feminine characters to be more trans friendly. And I think that's what people expected to see with a lot of the character designs in Ninja Gaiden. But that's the exact opposite of what we got. We got the best designs possible. And I think that is the thing that's shocking people about this game, is that we're getting a game that is adhering to the classic that we all loved when we grew up. And that is the thing that's bringing the gamers back to this game, where a lot of people are streaming this game. A lot of people are playing it. I played an hour and a half of this game straight, only expecting to play 40 minutes. That's how good the game is. Of course, they didn't really have to do anything about changing the game because it was already a classic game. So they had the foundations of the original creator there. They didn't mess it up. And I think that is a shocking thing. We expect all these remasters and remakes to be an abomination or an affront to the original classic game that was made. I think a lot of people are expecting something similar to Final Fantasy VII. I know people like that, but I feel like it just doesn't feel like the same game anymore. And I think that's the design that we didn't get. We got the character designs that we all expected to see. We got the interactions that we all expected to see, and didn't see anything changed or revamped in totality. I think a lot of gamers like that. A lot of gamers like the upscaled graphics that are really doing justice to the character designs that we saw in the first iteration of this game. And I think this is the thing that you want to see from a remaster, where it actually doesn't change anything with the character designs, it doesn't change anything with the story, and it keeps everything in line with what we expected from the game. And I think that's the sad thing about the current day state of the gaming industry, where when we hear the words remaster, we hear a downgrade instead of an upgrade now, because we know the people that are going to be working on the game actually want to downgrade the overall quality of the game because it's not in line with their personal ideology of what the game should look like. And I think this goes back to the people that are developing games in the Western games development sphere, where their main focus is not character design, gamer entertainment, or anything related to actually selling a game. It's about the emphasis on their personal ideology. And I think when you see a game like Ninja Gaiden 2 come out that is just sticking to the roots of what made that game famous and not removing any elements, knowing that's why this game is a classic, it's astonishing to see that. And coming in from Koei Tecmo, that was inching towards censorship, especially with some of the Xbox releases that they were putting out there, it is showing that there's a shift in the gaming industry today, where gamers are actually having their voices heard from the industry titans, at least the industry titans in Japan. I don't know about the Western games development sphere itself. Of course, games developed in Santa Monica, in California, and all the other places in America, those game studios are still sticking straight to their ideals of progressive politics, and we're not going to see that change happen to them. But to see Xbox release this game, not try to censor it and kind of holding it to what it is, that is a really great progress right there. Because Japan looked like it was losing its battle against the ESG DEI mafia, where they were being forced to put all these programs within their company to be an outreach to these elements within their culture. And a lot of gamers were expecting the worst with a lot of their releases, but that's not what we're getting. Dynasty Warriors, Origins, Ninja Gaiden, of course, Ninja Gaiden 4 coming out later this year. They have a bunch of products that are really capturing the imaginations of the gamers, and it just makes me think maybe future games are not going to be too bad from Japan. Japan may be recognizing that this progressive political approach to video game developing is a massive failure. And we saw this massive failure spread all throughout the video game industry. So I think they're taking the approach where they're looking by example at the failure of the Western game industry, maybe pivoting to making something that is more profitable. And I think that is what we're seeing with a lot of the titles coming out. And I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of the character designs for this game. It's a game that is made to be appealing and attractive to the gamer base and to keep them glued to the screen while they play it. I think that's the exciting thing about the game itself. It is making characters beautiful again, and it's making the gaming world actually exciting. I'm excited to see what comes out this year. It seems like the influence of maybe the changing presidency or changing guard within society is making people more lax with the censorship details. And hopefully that is going to be the case for a lot of future Japanese games that come out, because these games are actually excellent. Japanese developers were kind of hamstrung by Western politics, and maybe that restriction being lifted is going to release them to do more creative things. That's what I'm hoping for. Of course, we're still going to have some holdouts in Japan. We know Japan is the most influenced country from the Western games development sphere, and I'm hoping that control is wrestled away, and that's the likely scenario I'm looking forward towards. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe this is just a one-off. Maybe we're going to get Ninja Gaiden 4 later this year. It's going to be censored out of its mind. I highly doubt it. I think this is a step towards the right direction. But you leave a comment, tell what you think about the situation. What do you think about the Western gaming industry or Xbox itself not censoring its games being released on Game Pass anymore? I think that's a great improvement. And maybe this is a directive from the original creator himself, where he's saying, I don't want my games on any platform unless it's uncensored. I'm hoping that's the case. You tell me what you think is going on. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.